Good afternoon, everyone. Please settle down quickly.
Hello, Ritesh. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Quickly, we can begin. Please join in quickly. We have just 6 participants. Okay, I hope people will join in as we continue. So, before we begin with today's topic, which is best practice and going live, I would like to tell on Friday how we are going to evaluate, right? So, we want you to nominate yourself if you want to showcase what you've done on Friday, okay, before Thursday, 5 p.m., right? So we'll tell you how to nominate and all of that. Before Thursday, 5 p.m., okay, you have to nominate yourself if you want to showcase on Friday, right? And on Friday, as we begin, we will call out each of your names, right? And you'll get 5 minutes to showcase what you've done. Okay, we will tell you what to showcase and how to do it. So you get 5 minutes to showcase. You showcase what you have done, based on which we give you scores, which will be shared with the management. Please note, anybody who reaches out after Thursday 5 p.m. will not be able to showcase. We will not call out their names, right? And the final score for them will be considered to be 0. Okay. So please ensure that you nominate yourself, even if you have done partially. Okay. I hope you'll be able to finish everything, but yeah, nominate yourself and then work towards it. And keep everything ready while you join on Friday. Okay. Like I mentioned, each of you will get just 5 minutes. Guys at the back, if you are, who is that at the back? Please do not talk in between, right? If you have something serious to talk, go out, talk, and come back. Yeah. So you get 5 minutes to showcase what you have done, based on which your scores will be given. And so you'll have to showcase all the elements that we have discussed, which we actually did when I was there. Okay, the LinkedIn page with the floating group, the pop up, and your group focus, right? Repeating group, which we did after I came back. Okay. Plus the backend workflow APIs, right? All of that needs to be showcased. Okay. Are you all clear with what needs to be done? Any questions with regards to Friday's evaluation? Any questions from anybody? Can we move on with today's topic? Plus one in the chat box. Harikisan, you can add any APIs. I just want to understand that you have understood the APIs and you are able to connect it, right? One of the things that you could do with the LinkedIn setup that we have done so far is that whenever I post anything on LinkedIn, right? I mean, the LinkedIn that you guys have created, you can make an open AI API call and get a response to it. Okay. And that can be showcased on the front end. Okay. That is sufficient to showcase that you understood how the OpenAI API call works. Okay. But if you're not comfortable with that and you want to do any other API call, that's completely fine. I just want to see that you have understood how the API call works. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Okay. No more questions. Let's get started with the best practices. And yes, Harikisan, if you are working on something else, that's fine as well. I just want to see that you have understood concepts of pop-up, floating group, group focus, groups, repeating groups, right? APIs and backend workflows. These are the main things that I'll be observing when you showcase. If you have been able to cater to these things, okay, in any other use case, that's fine as well. Is that clear? Okay, so let's get started with today's topic, which is best practice and going live. So let me share my screen. Can you see my bubble screen with welcome Sayadri on the top? Last one in the chat box. Yeah, yes, okay. Good. Okay. So some of the best practices is you first get you have a structured approach when you're building application, right? Do not start right into bubble. Okay. Have some paperwork done. Okay. So whenever you're getting requirements, have a flowchart created. Okay. It could be just on a paper as well. Right. You can mention that, okay, first users are going to log in or register. And then once they register, they're going to go onto this page. And on this page, we will have these details, right? And if you have multiple pages on your app, okay, if you plan to have multiple pages on your app, then you have to ensure that the pages that you're creating will be accessible only to people whom it is meant for. right? Not anybody and everybody should be able to access it, right? So considering that, you always have to put conditions on the page. Okay, for example, if we go to admin page, I'm not sure how many people remember this. Okay, but if we go to admin page, we created something called group main, right? And group main was hidden by default, right? This is admin page, which is meant only for admins to be able to access, right? And that's why if we go to group main, then this is hidden by default. Like this element is visible on page load is unchecked, which means on page load, this element is not visible. Okay, when this is not visible, elements within this group are also not visible, right? And we're adding a condition where we say current users admin is yes, then this is visible, right? Likewise, we also have a workflow added. When the page is loaded, when current users admin is no, that means if the current user who was logged in onto the page or who has, what do you say, visited the page does not have admin access, then we send them back to home page, right? It could be any page that the users have access to, okay? But they should not be on the admin page, right? As soon as the page loads, they need to be taken out of admin page if they are not admins, okay? This you can implement on all the pages, okay? If that particular page is accessible only to particular users, okay? So that they're not doing any kind of things on that particular page. Is this clear, everyone? Okay, great. So once you decide how many pages are going to be there and who has access to it and stuff like that, okay, then you can think of the data structure, right? What is the data structure that you need? For example, you can begin with registration. Now, if I want the users to register, what are the information that I need from the users when they register, right? Again, this will depend on the entire application. Okay, so for example, if I am allowing the users to register on a social platform, right? Then I might ask them to give their email address, their name, maybe phone number for verification. I may ask them to input or upload their profile picture. I might ask them to add some bio so that others will know who I am, right? And so on and so forth. Okay. Now, amongst those fields, you also have to figure out what should be mandatory field, okay, and what are not mandatory fields, right? So mandatory fields are the ones which needs to come on the top or the first, what is a screen. And then as we move on, you can add a few non-mandatory fields as well, just in case if they are, what is a interested, then they can go further and fill those details, right? So likewise, not just for registration, but also all the data types that you will need in your app and what are the fields that you will need, okay, in those data types, right? Have a very rough sketch, even if it is on paper, that's completely fine. Yeah. And that will also give you a better idea of how you want your designs to be structured. Okay. Whether you are getting your designs yourself or whether you want to get it done by some designer, or you can also get it done using AI these days, right? How many of you have been watching our AI series on YouTube?
Evening. Okay.
Anybody? Some of them? Yeah. For those of you who are not watching it, okay, please check it out. Okay. If you feel that it's not adding value, that's completely fine. You can stop watching it. Okay, but at least the AI series that we're doing, 100 days of AI series, okay, which started on 1st of April. It's still going on. We are nearing 50 days, or we have just crossed 50 days. I'm not really sure. Here we are coming up with different use cases on how to use AIs in your day-to-day activities, right? There are a few tools meant for helping you with studies. There are a few tools which is meant for designs, few tools meant for research, right? Few tools which are helping with assignments, right? And so on and so forth. So watch it, and if you find it helpful, maybe you can share it with your friends. If you don't find it helpful, two things. Of course, you can ignore the series. Secondly, if you want, you can also share feedback as to why didn't you feel it helpful and how we can improve and so on and so forth. Anyways, that's out of topic for what we're doing here. Okay, that may help you with designs, right? Where you can do pencil sketches and you upload the pencil sketch on the platform, which will give you the designs, okay, along with HTML codes as well, right? While the HTML code could be useful if you're doing it outside of Bubble, but you will at least get a reference of how you can design on Bubble based on the pencil sketch that you have done. Okay. Irrespective of whether you are using that tool or not, pencil sketch will help you understand how you can get your app functioning. Okay. So you can do that. And then what I say, once your pencil sketch is done, then you can what I say, get that design on Bubble screen. Okay. And then go about connecting the database with your front end using workflows, add backend workflows, and also your what is the APIs and so on and so forth. Okay. I'll quickly show you what is the steps that we follow when it comes to any project that we get. Give me a moment. This was the one. Yeah, there you go. Are you able to see the flow diagram? Yes, no in the chat box, please. Yeah. So I'll zoom in a bit. Right. So whenever we get a new client, first thing that we do is onboarding. Right. We send them a welcome email, and because the clients, like if the client has come through a sales process, then we send them a feedback email asking them how the sales process was, right? If they would like us to improve upon anything in that particular process, then they can share their feedback. Okay. Once that is done, then we go from design phase, right? And design phase would include inputs from clients as to what is the design that they're looking for. If they have any reference for designs, if they have any color theme that they like, okay, if they already have brand guidelines, which tells us what is the color that they have chosen, if they have a logo or not, and so on and so forth, right? So that will be collected over here in this particular step. And within 2 to 5 working days, ideally, we should get the wireframing, wireframe creation, okay, which is basically like a pencil sketch, or it could also be a, what I say, pencil sketch digitally done, right? It will not be with colors and all of that. It will just be a skeleton diagram of how the app may look like, right? This is to ensure that we and clients are aligned with how the app is going to function, because you put a lot of efforts in getting the high fidelity design, right? And then if the client says, oh no, actually I thought this would be like this and that, or like that and stuff like that, right? Then you may end up putting a lot more efforts. Okay, so wireframing actually gives you that flexibility to make changes very quickly, okay, before you go into getting the actual this thing done, right? And then we work on the high fidelity design mockup, okay, and then once we get this done, of course we get the approval from the client, and then we do design handoff, design doc and handoff, which is basically handing over the design to the dev team, right? So the development team can start working on the designs and stuff like that. Okay, this is of course done once the client has approved the design, which means that there is no more changes in the designs. And if at all there is any change in the design coming up, then client will have to pay extra for that, right? Of course, unless we have missed something which was part of our scope and we have not done it, right? Now, within the next 1 to 3 working days, right, we have to start the technical planning and tool setup, right? Which is basically understanding who is working on it and what is the tools that we are going to use and how are we going to go about getting the project done. Then within the next 1 to 3 working days, we are going to get the pre-design importation setup, which means the designer would have come up with some color themes, right? That, okay, we are going to work on this colors and so on and so forth. Pre-design importation setup is basically to get those things into our bubble setup. Okay, next 4 to 10 working days, design importation and page assembly. That is to get the pages and all sorts of elements. Okay, based on the design that we've got, we will get those things done, and then we will work on the next 5 to 12 working days for database, API, and backend setup. Okay, this also includes the front end design, by the way, right? The entire front end design, the page creation, reusable element creation, and all of that over here. Then comes the database, APIs, and backend setup, right? So we will set up the database, APIs, and backend setup, and all of that. Now, this does not mean we are coming to the database over here, right? We are working on the database over here itself, wireframe creation. So if we go here, right? So we will actually create design documentation and handoff. We'll also have the database details. Not sure if I have clearly mentioned that somewhere here, but it's also included there. Okay. So here we are just implementing the database that we already planned for, okay, onto Bubble, right? Database, APIs, and backend setup. And once the database is done, this also includes the workflow setting up and all of them. Okay. Then comes the white box testing. Then comes the black box testing. Then comes bug fixing and retesting. And then comes user acceptance testing, which is basically the client testing, which is done. Okay. And they give feedback whether they have found any issues or not. And if not, then we will go to the next one, which is pre-deployment preparation, where we see what are the things that we may need for deploying our application. If there is anything that we have to do in the live setup, okay, which I'm going to talk about in a while, right? So we will check this, and then we will do the production environment configuration, which is basically once it goes live, if we have to have any database data records created, then we will create those records, and data migration if applicable. If there are any data that needs to be sent from test database to live database, then we do that. And finally, we go live and final production testing, right? A lot of times we go live and tell everybody that, oh, our app is live, go and use it, right? Without testing it ourselves once. And that's not a good thing, because there might be something that is missing in the live database, which was good in test database, right? And that's why it's always advisable that once you go live, you do final testing on the live version before you can invite others to start using your application. Okay. Once that is done, then we have post-launch phase, which is basically the final invoice, And feedback collection, we ask the client as to how it was working with us in this particular project and so on and so forth. Any feedback, any improvement points that they have to share with us, that will be collected over here, right? And ongoing until free support period. So basically immediate support and bug resolution. So even after we go live, right, we give our clients 30 to 60 days of window based on the project complications as to how long do we give them free support, right, without them having to pay for it. Okay, that is this particular thing. And then 3 to 5 days before free support ends, we do a transition to ongoing support, which is basically telling them that, okay, another 3 to 5 more days, and then we'll have to go on a paid maintenance plan, right? Which is basically over here, final review and sign off, and then internal review and learning. So this one we basically do to understand within our internal team as to how well the project went, what were the learnings, what were the things that we missed, okay, which we should have, and how do we ensure that next time we do not miss something like that, right? So something on those lines, we do it over here. And then celebration and acknowledgement, because each project is a learning. So we celebrate the completion of the project with the good things that we have done during the project, and acknowledgement of whatever we have missed to ensure that that never happens again, right? And then invitation for case study collaboration. We also invite our clients for case study collaboration. So this is not happening regularly at our end, but yes, that's something that we would like to. Post closure, we ask feedback integration, okay, within 2 months of project closure. Then case study creation, okay, this was just to get the this is just for inviting the client, okay, and this is where we create the case study, okay, and then we use this case study materials and everything for our marketing and exploration of future opportunities. That is basically to understand if we could help them in any of the future projects, or on something that they could refer to somebody else and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is the whole flow of how we handle projects at Red 7. Right. If you want to take a screenshot or something like that, you could do that. Any questions here? Anybody? Any questions from anyone? Just give me one. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Any questions? Anybody? With regards to the flow? No questions? Can we move on? Can we move on? Okay, thank you. So now, let's see what are the things that we have to do before we go live, right? And then we will see how do we go live and what to say, what are the things that we have not covered which might be required when it comes to developing a real application. Okay. So firstly, let's see how do we come back. Okay, let's say we are working on some application, some functionality, right? And we have been trying to get some functionality. We do a lot of work. Okay, let's say 4 hours, 5 hours of work and stuff like that, right? And then we realize that we have messed up something, and something which was working before is also not working now. Okay, now we do not want to be in a situation where we end up screwing something that was already working fine, right? And hence we want to get back to the point where the app was functioning properly, okay, apart from the functionality that we tried to add. Okay, so in cases like that, you can go to this main, right? You see here main, and then you go back to history. Okay, from overview, you go back to history. Okay, and one is you can create a save point over here. Okay, I'll show you how this works. So let me create a save point, and this could be all well. Okay, let's say I create a save point called all well, right? So I know that whatever I've done until now is all good, but I'm going to work on something new, right? Now, let's say that I'm on the admin page itself, okay, and I go to this group main, and let's say I delete this particular repeating group. Okay, delete this one as well, right? By mistake, I've deleted a few things, and what to say, I've worked on 4, 5, like I've worked for 4 to 5 hours on the app. I don't know what all changes I've done and stuff like that. Okay, so the easiest way that I can get back is one, I can go to history. I can click on the save point that I've created and click on restore to the save point, right? So I'll show it again. We go to main, we go to history, right? If you want to create a save point, then you create it from here. If you want to go back to the already created save points, then you can click on this one, click on restore to the save point. It will open a pop-up which will ask you for a confirmation. Click on confirm. And what happens is you will be taken back to the point where you had created a save point, right? So all the changes that you had done after that save point was created, okay, will be lost. Okay. But whatever you had messed up, that will be recovered, right? So once the page loads, we can see that whatever repeating group that we had deleted will be back, right? So we have this repeating group, we have this repeating group, right? And so on. So this issue was there from before, so nothing to worry about. This is clear. Did you understand how do we come back to the point? Yes. Okay. Now, let's assume that I don't know how I have not created a save point. Okay. Let's say I didn't create a save point, but I went on working and then I realized that I've messed up things. Now what can I do? Right. You can click on main, go to history, and if you have not created any save points, you still have custom date and time, right? click on that, it will show you today's date and the time right now. Okay. Now, if I know that I started working on this particular functions like 4 hours back, right? Let's say I would roughly estimate when did I start working. Okay. If I know that, okay, until this morning, 10 o'clock, I was not working. And until then, everything was fine. After 10, sometime I've started. Then what I'll do is I'll go make it as 10, 0, 0, right? Today's date. If it was yesterday, then I would go to 18 and restore to this custom date and time, right? Now, what you have to keep in mind is based on the app, based on the app plan that you are in right now, okay, you'll be able to go back that much backwards. Okay, what I mean by that is, if we go to settings, if we go to app plan, change plan, right? Compare all features. Let's see where exactly is this. Yeah, so version backup and restore, right? So you can see that in the free plan, okay, which most of you are in right now, you can go back up to 6 hours. Okay. In the starter plan, we can go back up to 2 days. Growth plan allows us to go back 14 days, right? Team plan allows us to go back 20 days, and enterprise plan allows us to go back to 30 days, right? So for most of you, it is this one which you have to keep in mind. So if you're working on something, right, and if you figure out that you have messed it up, don't delay until later, right? Immediately go back, right? So that you can get the version which was working fine. Now, it's not just that you can go backwards, but you can also go further if you had been backwards. For example, I had created this particular save point, all well, right? Now, let's assume that I delete this, right? I'll create a save point now. You know what is this issue? Okay, Google Visual Code, that's fine. Right, so I'll go to history. I'll click on save point. I mentioned this as deleted some repeating group from admin page. I'll confirm. Right. So I can go back, okay, to this particular save point where I feel that, okay, everything was working fine and stuff like that. And I can also go forward, okay, where I created a save point. So when I come back here, this repeating group is back, correct? But I can also go forward in history, which is deleted some RG from admin page. So I can click on this and I can say restore to this point. Okay. So now when I go forward, right, those repeating groups will be deleted. Is this clear? Are you able to follow? Okay, good. Now this is with regards to the front end only, right? Database will not change. Irrespective of whether you go forward or backwards or whatever it is, database will not change, right? Your data types will not change, your app data will not change, right? None of that will change. Okay, the records will remain the same. Okay, now then how do we ensure that we go back or forward with regards to the database, right? Let's say, for example, I go to users and I wanted to do something, but I deleted all the users. Okay, let's say I select all, which is all 126, delete, click on confirm. Or let's say two of you are working on database and one person by mistake, unknowingly, right, deleted all the records. Now the app is not functioning because all the data is lost, right? All the posts, everything like created by is all deleted things, right? Now what? We can go to copy and restore database, which is available here, right? Now on the top portion, we have copying data from live to development database or development to live database. Okay, we haven't seen the live database yet, so we will come there a bit later. Okay, let's scroll a bit down, right? And here we have time to restore, right? So if you click on any of this, let's say I click development to live, okay, then we get this one. What is the type of data that you want to copy? And then you have to type in copy from development to live and then click on confirm, which is when the, development data will be copied to live. Okay, this is where you can restore the data, right? Whether you want to restore development data, whether you want to restore the live database, you have to select that. By default, it will be development. Data type to restore. Now you can select all types, which means all the data types will be restored to the particular time, date and time that we select. Okay, but in this case, I know specifically that user database is what I want. So I'll select user data type, click on current time, right? So 1525 is what it is right now. I know that I deleted this record, let's say 5 minutes back, right? Within the last 5 minutes. So I'll put this as 1520 and click on restore to this date, right? Then it will ask us to type in restore data to past version. Okay, once we type in that, you can click on confirm, and whatever was our database, okay, especially the user data table 5 minutes back, that will be restored. Okay, again, you can see here, given your plan, you can go back up to 2 days. Be careful, this will overwrite all data in your application, can take a long time to complete for larger databases. Now, what this means is, let's assume that I had deleted the records yesterday, right? Let me just refresh so that I can see all the data. Click on this, click on data, go to app data. So 126, all the users are back. Okay. Let's assume that one of the developers who are working together deleted the data yesterday, right? And there are a few live users who have started registering on the portal, which means we have got a few new users on the portal now. After the delete has happened, there are a few new users who have registered on the portal. If you go back in time, then what will happen is the new data will be deleted and the old data will be restored, right? It's not a merge that is happening in both the cases, right? Whether we are doing the database, whether we are going back in time for database or whether we are going back in time for design, okay, both of it is wiping out what is there presently and getting whatever was there previously. Okay, it's not merge. Is this clear, everyone? Yes, no? Great. Okay. Now, this is how you can restore the data or the design, okay, if something goes wrong. Okay. Now, if the app plan allows, for example, those of you who have already got agency plan, right? Lucky guys, right? Because you are active during that time, you got the agency plan. And for those of you who have got it, you can also create branches. Right? I'll show you what is the advantage of this. We'll firstly see what are the branches that we get in each of the plans. Compare all features. So custom branches, free plan, nothing. Even in the starter plan, you won't get branches. Okay. Growth plan is where you get the branches. In growth plan, you get 10. In team plan, we get up to 25 branches. Okay. And enterprise plan also, you get up to 25 branches. Right. And the plan that we have given you, okay, which is the agency plan, will also give you 10 branches. Right. Which means it's almost equivalent to the growth plan. Yeah. Now let's look at how do we create branches and how does it help us. So if two people are working on the same app, and if you want us to be working parallelly, okay, because if you have the access to the what I say account, then two people can be accessing the same app at the same time, okay, from two different systems. But then the problem is, let's say I did something, okay, and parallelly there is somebody else also working on the app, right, who is also making some change. Now I feel that I did something which should not have done. I'll click on undo. Now I'm not sure whether I am undoing my changes or the person who is working parallelly with me, okay, their changes. Okay, this is point number one. Point number two is, you might have seen that when you are in the preview mode, okay, let's say username and password, right? The page is loaded. And if I make any change, right? Any change if I make it, let's say I delete this, you have a refresh, this thing which is coming up. You can't do anything over here until you refresh this, right? So if there are two people who are working on the same app at the same time, okay, then you guys will never be able to test because there is somebody else who is making some change constantly. Okay. And also, if there is something that gets messed up, you're not sure who did it. Okay. And that's when branches come into picture. So I can create a branch, right? And let's call it as Aaron. Okay, I can add some description here. I can click on create. Now, I can tell Praren that this is your branch. Okay. Whatever you want to do it in this branch. Do not touch me. Right? Whatever experiment you want to do, whether you want to create a database, whether you want to create a page, whether you want to create a reusable element, whatever you want to do it in this particular branch. Okay, I'll go back to main and I will create one more branch, right? Let's call this Hare Krishna. and I'll tell Harikishan that this is your branch, right? Whatever changes you want to make, anything that you want to experiment, do it in this branch, right? The URL changes. Basically, if you see the version, so this is 38273, whereas if I go to Preran, then it is version 292A72. If I go to main branch, then it is version equals to test. Okay, so the version changes, right? Now let's assume that we go to Preran branch, and Preran has added some new page, okay, which is called Preran. We create, okay. He has added some elements over here. He has done some experiments. He has like all sorts of things he has done, right? Now, whenever I feel that, okay, whatever Preran has done is good enough, okay, which means I'm going to test it in the Preran branch itself first, right? I can preview the Preran branch from here, okay, of any page. This does not mean that Preran branch will not have any other pages, right? Preran branch will have all the other pages that we had before we created the branch, plus all the changes that Preran has done on this particular branch. Okay, so I would preview this, I would test it and all of that once I feel that this is good enough. Okay, now if I go back to main branch or Harikishan branch, the Preran page will not be available here. Can you see here? Is there a page called Preran here, which we just created in Preran branch? Can we see it here? Yeah. Now, when I know that Preran has done job, which is good enough to get to main branch, what I will do is I'll go to main. I have an option called merge changes from another branch. I'll click on that. I'll say I want to merge the changes from Preran branch. I'll click on continue. It'll ask me for confirmation. I'll click on continue. Okay. So the merging gets started now. And how it works is it will firstly show us any changes that are non-conflicting, which means changes that Preran has done in his branch, right? But that is not impacting our main branch, which means I've not touched that page. Okay, so you can see that one non-conflicting changes to be merged from Preran. Okay, and that is Preran page, right? Page Preran was added, and that was not there before, so it's a non-conflicting change. I'll click on confirm changes. Okay, nice work. You have no conflicts to resolve. So there were no conflicts to resolve, right? So I'll click on continue, and once this merge has been taken into effect, we will have the Preran page added into the main branch. So if I go to index now, you can see Preran page added over here. Okay. Now let me go to Preran page, right? And I'll also now go to, who's this? I'll go to Harikishan. Okay, when I go to Harikishan, because, let it load. Okay, Harikishan is also a sub branch of main branch, right? So we can see an option here called sync with main, which means there is some change that has happened in the main branch after the branch Harikishan was created. And that was because we did some change in Preran, and that change was merged into main, right? Now what I'll do is I'll do sync with main in Harikishan branch. Okay, which means the Preran page, which was not there in Harikishan branch, will now be added over here. You can see the same thing here. Page Preran added. I'll click on confirm changes. I'll click on continue. Okay. As soon as I do that, parent page will be available over here. Let me go here. I'll delete this particular text that we've added. I'll delete this particular button that we had added and also create a new page called Harikisan. Right. And let me just add a text element here. Harikisan. Okay. So I've removed two elements from the page Preran. I've added a new page called Harikisan and I've added a text element called Harikisan. Let me go back to main. And now when I merge changes from another branch, which is Harikisan, okay, there will be conflicts. Okay. No, just give me a minute. Let me go to page Preran. And here what I'll do is I'll delete this particular icon and this particular link. Okay. In Harikisan branch, I deleted these two. Okay. Over here, I've deleted these two. So there are two copies of Preran page available, one in the main and one is in Harikisan branch. Now when I go to this merge, click on Harikisan, click on continue. Okay. Now click on continue. Firstly, it will show us the non-conflicting changes, which is basically the page that we have added with name Harikisan. Okay, and there is a text also added, which is Harikisan. Okay, so it will take some time. And as you can see here, we have this. Okay, 3 non-conflicting changes to be merged from Harikisan. So element text A removed, element button A removed, and then page added. These 3 will come here. Okay, I don't think it will come as conflicts. Let's see. Yeah, it's not coming as conflicts because we removed the 2 elements, okay, from this particular branch, the main branch, but those 2 elements were there in the Harikisan branch. So let's do some change. Let me cancel this conflict. Cancel this merge. Cancel merge. Let's do some conflicting changes, which means let's say this one itself. Today also you guys have some event or something? Do you have some events happening? Hello? Why did the guys leave just now? Few people. You have events? Horrible, yeah. Yes. I don't understand why they keep the sessions during some events which is happening. Anyways, last session. So let's continue and finish it off. Yeah, those of you who are interested can stay back. Okay, so I'll make change here saying file. Okay, which is in the main branch. And this is the element that we have removed from Harikisan branch. So now I hope there should be some conflict. Let's see. Okay, so you can see button element button A removed. Okay, here we have a page added. Click on this one, and here you have a conflict, right? While the current branch, which is main branch, the text element Okay, we have changed it to trial. In the Harikishan branch, it was removed, right? So the same element which has got changed here has also got changed there. Okay, when there is a conflict, it shows us that this is the conflict. Which branch do you want to take? If you feel that main branch, whatever is there, is good enough, you click on confirm one choice and merge, right? Because it's just one conflict. If you feel that this is what is good enough, that is, this text is no more required, and whatever is there in Harikishan's branch needs to be taken into consideration, then click on confirm. Now that particular element will be removed even from main branch. Okay. So just in case, if you guys are working with couple of developers, okay, with branching, then it's always advisable that have clarity of what pages or what workflows are you going to change, right? So that this conflicts will not arise, right? And somebody's job need not be lost. Okay, so keep that in mind and have clarity of what page you're going to change, what is that you're going to do, right? Even if you're working in branches, so that when you merge, one person's job is not lost. Is this clear, everyone? Okay, cool. So last couple of things, right? We go to settings, we go to general, or rather, we have, let's, no. Yeah, it's here. Bubble keeps changing this. Okay, so domain and email is here. So once you feel that the app is ready and you want to go live, okay, this is where you add your domain, right? So it could be like, let's say, sahyadri.com. Okay, so once I do this, it's asking for Google Map because we have used Google Maps somewhere. So we'll ignore that for now. These are the A records that we have to create in the, provider from where we have taken the domain. Okay, so for example, if you go to GoDaddy, okay, I'll not walk you through the entire process because there are numerous videos which explains how this works. Even over here, so you can see deploying your application section of our user manual. So if you go here, video should be available. But they've given step-by-step instruction of how this has to be done. Our video lessons is also here. Okay. So if you go to GoDaddy, you can go to my products. And because I'm talking about rit7.com, I'll have to go to rit7.com as a product. And add. Yeah, so I'll have to go to DNS. I'll have to create records. Okay. So I'll have to add new record. Right. And if you go back to our Bubble app, then type is A, name is Sahyadri, and then we have 4 values, right? So what I'll do is I'll have to go here, select here A, and this will be Sahyadri. Okay, and this is where the value has to be added. So I'll have to click on all the 4 values, okay, add it over here and click on add, save, click on save, okay, once you add all the 4 values. But if you are adding not a subdomain, but domain, like let's say, for example, I want to add abcd.com, right? Then it will give you more records. Okay. So based on whatever you're adding, whether it's a domain or subdomain, it will give you records. these records need to be created in your GoDaddy or Namecheap or any platform from where you had got the domain. Okay. So once that is done, your app will be linked to domain. Okay. What that means is you can see here you have got Sahyadri begin c1 bubbleapps.io, right? This entire thing will be replaced with the domain or subdomain that you have chosen, right? So when you are sharing it with your users, right, you don't have to share like Sahyadri begin c1 bubbleapps.io or something like that. It can be with your own domain. Okay, so for example, if you go to app.view360, this is also app built on Bubble for our client. Even if you go to Bizmate, sorry, so app.bizmate.io. Okay, so this is also a app built on Bubble, right? So you can see that this is having its own subdomain. Right, it asks you to log in and so on and so forth. Okay, they are testing out something. Okay, is this clear? How do you add the domain or subdomain to app? Is this clear? Cool. Now the final step is once everything is ready, the domain is linked and everything is set, that's when you click on deploy. Okay, there are two issues that we have to fix, without which it will not allow us to deploy. So let me go to this one and delete this particular repeating group. Of course, I have to fix this if this repeating group is required. But in the interest of time, I'm going to delete that. And now we have some Google thing here. Let me check if I've used Google Maps anywhere. And the way I check is use element. No, element type. Maybe map. Not used it. So why is it giving me error? Ideally, it should not if you have not used Google Maps anywhere. Okay, one of the things that we can do is we can add issues underscore of equal to true. Okay, which would ideally remove all the issues. Okay, it should be before this, I guess. Copy this and go over here. They should ignore all the issues. Ignore issues equals to off. Yeah. We click on deploy and it will allow me to deploy. Again, for those of you who have got agency plans from us, you'll be able to send it to live. Okay, of course, even the live app will ask you for the username and password and stuff like that. Not the ideal way to send your app to live. Okay, but otherwise, to send your app to live, you need to be in the paid plan. Okay, now I'll say first version here. Click on deploy. Okay, now what this does is here you can see when we previewed it, we had Sahyadri begin c1 bubbleapps.io/version, then whatever version we were in, right? If we were in version test, then it would be version test. If it is custom versions like Preran and Harikishan, it will show us that. But when we go to live, then we will have a different link, which is not with any versions. Okay. So this is the link that you have to share with your audience. Okay, and version test or any other version that we have is meant only for development purpose, for testing purpose, and so on and so forth. Right? This ideally should be the domain or subdomain that you are looking for. Okay. So once you're done with this, then you go to data. You see what are the datas that you want to be sent to live. Right? Go to app data. Click on copy and restore database. Right? And now you can send development data into live database. I'll show you example how how this works. You can send all the data, okay? But I'll send user data here. Say copy development live. Click on confirm. What we are doing is all the records that we had in the development database for users, all of those records will be sent to live database, right? So if we go to posts, we have 49 records. If we go to data types 2, we have 1, data 1, we have 2, and so on and so forth. If you go to live database, okay, switch to live database, then all of this will be empty. Data type 2, data type 1, posts, everything will be empty. The only thing that we will have data is 126 records of users. And that is because we copied the data from live development to live database. Is this clear, everyone? Saket, no, I'll not be available after Friday. So we have to finish it by Friday. Yeah. So please speak to your, what do you say, HOD, or maybe speak with Mansa ma'am, right? And ensure that you come, because we have given you enough time to complete whatever were supposed to be completed, right? I've given you time during the session itself, right? And if you guys cannot spend that much time and get things done, if you cannot ask questions, if you cannot get clarity, I can't do anything about it, right? Because we have to finish whatever we are supposed to, and we have to share our progress. Okay. So yes, any questions with regards to going live and data, this thing, or anything that we covered today? Any questions, anyone? Okay, no questions from anyone. That is good. I would repeat once more for all of you, right? This Friday will be your assessment session. Okay, we will have it from 2:45 regularly. By Thursday, 5 p.m., you have to nominate yourself if you want to showcase on Friday, right? Each of the names who have nominated for showcasing on Friday will be listed down, and we will start calling your names starting at 2:45. Each of you will get 5 minutes, and you have to showcase on the preview mode as to what you've done, right? The areas that I'll be interested in looking at will be floating group, pop-up, group focus, okay, groups, repeating groups, API calls, backend workflows, right, and responsiveness, right? These are the 8 things that we will be focusing on. You have to showcase to me that you have been able to get pop-up and send some data into pop-up, right? Add some floating group, showcase some data on floating group, show me group focus. When you click on something, it opens up, and so on and so forth, right? Show me that you are able to create a new record, okay? And show that in, repeating group, right? Make an API call, and show me some example of backend workflow, right? Which could also be scheduled maybe for 24, like after 24 hours or after a week or whatever it is, right? And each one of you will get exactly 5 minutes to showcase this, right? So whatever you showcase within 5 minutes is what we will consider for your marks, right? So keep everything that is required ready when you join Friday's call, right? And for those of you who missed this class, right, unfortunately, we will not be able to give you second chance, and there will be no scoring done for you guys. Yeah. Most of what I'm going to see was already covered when I was there in your college. Okay. It's just a couple of things more that is required to be done. Okay. Which was covered during the last couple of sessions. So I hope you guys will be able to get those things sorted. Okay, there are at least a couple of them who have been able to do it. Okay, so if you have not been able to finish it, please reach out to them, get help from them, get it done. Any questions, anyone? No, you don't have to submit your work. Okay, you just have to showcase when we get on a call on Friday, right? Keep everything ready. Like I mentioned, once your name is called, 5 minutes is all you get, right? Don't tell me that, okay, system is not working, that is not working, I've not got my laptop, no internet, no that, no this, nothing, right? 5 minutes, whatever you showcase, based on that, we will score you. Is that clear, everyone? Any questions? Okay. I'll wait for a minute, and if there are no more questions, then we can wind up. Can we show our work separate preview in single page preview? I didn't get your question, but if you mean to say that you want to show pop-up on one page, the floating group on another page, and so on and so forth, that's completely fine, right? All I want to know is that you have understood the concept, okay, and you are able to showcase how a pop-up works, how a floating group works, how a group focus works, and so on and so forth. Okay, it's just the understanding of the concept that I'm mainly looking for, right? If you have understood the concept, then you will be able to build anything using those concepts, right? So I'm just looking at the concepts. Doesn't matter if you have added it in the same page or different page, or split it on multiple pages. Any other questions, anyone? Okay, thank you, everyone. And just a small update for a couple of you, whoever showcases well on Friday. Okay, maybe we have some project opportunities for you if you are interested, if you have time. Okay, all we will decide based on how well you showcase on Friday. So be prepared. And by tonight or by tomorrow, we will tell you how do you nominate yourself. And by Thursday evening, 5 o'clock, please nominate yourself. Okay. No nominations will be accepted after 5 p.m. on Thursday. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening. See you on Friday.